Hey y'all, what's up? Big Wooly here, and welcome back to another episode of our FTB Skies Expert Let's Play. So in today's episode, you'll notice that the reactor is off because it's not making that loud noise. Right behind me is our 5 buckets of plutonium. So without further ado, let's get into it. Like I was saying, this machine, y'all, that noise, it's loud. But as you can see right there, we have our just over 5 buckets worth of plutonium, which is what we're going to get started with. So we just need a pressurized reaction chamber, which I think I already have in storage. So let me run and grab that. We'll get it set up and move right along. All right, grab that pressurized reaction chamber, and I went ahead and grabbed 5 fluorite dust because I don't know how much of this we're actually going to need for anything else. I haven't looked too far to see what all else we may need it for, so I'm not sure how big of like a stockpile I need to be aiming for. So right now, we're just going to temporarily set this thing up so that we have access to the parts we need of it, and then we'll worry about the rest later. So I'm going to get kind of cute, and I'm going to see if it can just extract from this waste barrel, although I think the waste barrel can only come in and out of the top, right? Right. So we're going to need to move this power cable up and over this thing. Let's do that real quick here. There we go. All right, just rerouted the power so that we can get to the top of that. And if we're going to do it like the lazy way, we could just put the thing directly on top and see if it can pull out. And if not, we'll move it. So hopefully, if we tell it that on the bottom, it can pull a gas. Oh, but that's right. It's mechanism. It doesn't have the ability to pull. We're going to need a pipe to get it out. All right, pressurized tube. And then we'll just, there we go. Now our 5 buckets of plutonium are in here. Put in our fluorite dust. And the last thing we need is water, which we just so happen to have a ton of right here. Now, can I put water in this way to this thing? No, I can't. Okay, so we're going to need to pipe it. So let's grab out some ultimate pipe or whatever tier pipe I have. Ultimate mechanical pipe. That'll work just fine. And then all we got to do, right down into the top of it. There's our first plutonium pellet. And then we can auto eject. So in theory, we should be able to just put a waste barrel right here. And then we can tell it that spent nuclear waste, which is a gas, output to the bottom. And then that will slowly decay away. And here are our 5 plutonium pellets. Awesome. Take our 5 plutonium pellets, come over here to this quest line. Bun, bun, bun. Moving on to the last tier. Excited to see that creative energy cell and to play around with these element containers. So let's pop out of here. And these element containers are going to be amazing. So this is water. We'll take this out. We no longer need that export bus because we don't have to export anything. And now, creative element of water. We don't have to produce the shards to feed these things anymore. We don't have to do any of that. We have as much element as we need for all of elemental craft. And now we can just replace all of these ones we've got set up with these export buses with the creative one for the respective elements. So here we go. Air right there. We'll have to reset our, your push pulls on your element pipe when you put them back down. So let me go do that on the water before I forget. Or we'll put something through the crafting and it'll be like, not coming back. And then we'll be over here troubleshooting. So there we go. There's that. Those are all set to extract. We won't need this extra one we had because there was so much stuff that was on air. All right, so there's air done. Let's go ahead and get this. Oh, can I pop you off with a wrench? All right, I just have to remember to set this back up with its export bus, and it needs its crafting upgrade, and we're exporting the Venus blaze rods. All right, now this pipe we don't need because we've got the creative jar there, so it won't run out anymore. All right, you get to go away. We don't even need any of this right now, although we will leave the cable because we're definitely going to be automating more stuff on all of these elements now. We'll be able to set up, you know, the crystallizers for each of them. We'll be able to set up the infusers with pattern providers for the different crafts that come off of them. We'll be able to set up our, well, this is already set up, but more things like the swift alloy on the other elements. It's going to be awesome. So there's fire, and like I said, this is exciting because we can do away with that need, and that will lighten up the taxing on our system for making all of these crystals. So might even be able to redo this. I think we need to have these drawers for these pull directly from there and then link, and then that way we quit using all the liquid element to make the stuff. So might look into moving that. But there we go. End of a quest here, giving us access to creative elements for pushing through the end game. You know, it's taken us 4 months to get here, so this reward kind of feels worth it. Now, this other one, let's look at it. I don't know anything about it. Hold control for tags, block tags. So my question becomes, does this thing provide power or store power? So let's head over to AE2 things, and I guess, actually, why don't we just test something? So let's throw down this creative energy cell. Okay, and it shows stored, meaning it has that crazy amount of power in it. So now the question becomes, right, isn't there a card for AE2? What is it called, an induction or something like that? No, there's an upgrade that allows it to provide energy to machines, I think. But I don't know if it's part of applied energistics or one of the expanded energistics or something like that. Let's just look for card, maybe. Redstone card, capacity, overflow, destruction, advanced, fuzzy, acceleration, inverter. That might be it, the inverter card. All right, so let me go look that up. But I want to see if we can utilize this power, because if I can utilize this power, that's massive. Be right with you. All right, y'all. So after a bunch of reading, Googling, looking around in the pack to see if I see anything, I don't know where I had seen it, but I thought there was a mod that adds like a power distribution module for things like pattern providers and export buses, import buses, an upgrade that you can put in there, but I don't see it in this pack. So I don't know if I was watching another video or if maybe I'm having Minecraft dreams or something. But either way, it doesn't look like there's a way to take our creative energy cell and power RF based things off of it. However, I was able to pull our flux plug off of our main network here, and if we look, that freed up 4.6 KFE a tick that this was using for powering our wireless networks and all of those other things, and then anything else we do that puts a power draw onto the AE network, like adding more wireless access points and our infinite range card, which I think we might be able to craft as of now. As a matter of fact, I might like to look at getting into that. However, while I was preparing and waiting on our 5 buckets, I put some things in this chest. I don't remember what they were. Oh, now I remember what they were. I want to get to making some of these higher tier efficiency upgrades for our thermal machines to make them faster. So we need to be able to make these thermal Endergy dusts. We need to be able to make, specifically for right now, I need the Melodium and the Prismalium dust, because you need those to make this upgrade here that they gave us some of for free early in the game, but now I want to make more. So let's take a look at that. These things are made in a mixer. They're going to have some other recipes that went along with them, but I do believe I already went ahead and did all of those other recipes off camera, because you guys have seen me put enough recipes in my system. I don't think it needs to be an every episode thing that you watch me make like 47 recipes. We can chase them together. I think I left out those because they were unique. I don't think there was anything weird about them. So yeah, here we need Prismarine, Lumium Blend, and Liquid Elemental Water, which we have all that. This one, we need, the only thing we had to do were these dark fireballs. So I did add a recipe for this, We already are automatically making the protochorus. The liquid magma, I did not solve. I put the recipe in and didn't think about it. And then this one here, I put in a recipe for black dye, and we're already getting the prismarine shards. So there's a recipe in for it to make those, I believe. Let's double check. Dark. Yep. So you can see that the dark fireball is right there, but the one piece we're missing is that liquid magma. So let's take a look at how we're going to get that. So the liquid magma comes from magma cream or magma blocks. Now, magma blocks, how can we get those? We can get those right here. We'll just add this crafting recipe because we have the fire element things on auto production. There's 2,000 of them in a drawer up there. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's grab these out. I just had all that in there to remind me why we were doing all of this. So let's put up this stuff. These two can just go in storage. This goes back in the backpack. These can go in storage. You can go in storage. This is the one we're getting ready to set up. And then we need to make our liquid magma or a magma block recipe. And then we're going to need to make the recipe to turn the magma blocks into liquid magma. So magma. Okay. Right here. This is the recipe we want to use. Stone, we don't have being auto-generated, do we? We probably should. No, we're smelting our stone. We should definitely set that up on auto-generation, but it just needs to be a whole one. So let's go with something like deep slate instead. So I'm going to take one of these out. I'm going to clear these, and then we're going to put in the deep slate, which will still produce the same result for us, as you can see right there, but it will use something that we have automatically being generated in the system instead of having to craft the stone. So there's our recipe for that. That's just a crafting recipe. That gets us magma blocks. Now, from a magma block, we need to go through the slow melter, and we can send 2 at a time for 2 buckets or 1 at a time for 1 bucket. Let's make sure that we can get a slow melter. There's that. Now, is there a better way? Liquid magma. Nope, slow melter is the only way. Okay, so now let's just go get that set up. Let's make up a fluid cell, a small one, like a 16K or something, and we will just toss this into there. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the cell workbench to tell it that that can hold 16,000, millibuckets or whatever of liquid magma, and only liquid magma. We'll toss it in here. Then we're going to go set up our process, and then that'll give us a buffer to fill with our liquid magma, and it will allow us to fully automate these 2 recipes because we had everything else already being done with the exception of the dark fireballs, which require that liquid magma. Now, let's take a peek at this. So one of these is super easy. It wants 100 billion FE, which I think we have in our battery at the other base, so that's not a problem. Let's go ahead and grab out a task screen. Task. This one was last used for ether gas. Where do I have a place that I can just... Actually, I think I have a flux point in my... Yeah, I got a flux point right here. So let's toss this down. Let's come in here. Let's change our task to FE, and we needed the 100 billion FE. So this is gonna wreck our power. Let's bypass the limit and let it go. Now, I do want to run check to make sure we don't set a wither free. So let's head back to the old base and go make sure that we're not freeing the wither on accident by doing all of that. Where's... Which way's the elevator block? There it is. Okay. Task completed. Did not even hardly make a dent. So, it doesn't seem like we've been storing that much power, but we are A-okay. Heck yeah. Well, that means as far as the packs requirements for us to be generating power, we are doing fantastic. So there we go. Unlimited cosmic power, man. All right, so this other one, the liquid DT fuel. Why I can't click on it, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a recipe that we have to do to craft it, but why it won't let me click on it, I haven't figured out yet. So, DT fuel. See, it's in here. And if I click on it here, or on the liquid, it shows me a recipe, but clicking on it from the other page doesn't pull up a recipe for whatever reason. All right, so I got a bunch of stuff prepped. Here is that fluid storage cell we're talking about. Let's go ahead and tell it that we only want it to be able to store liquid magma. So we'll take our liquid magma, drag it down there. There we go. Now it is only going to be capable of taking liquid magma. Look, I didn't rotate this at all, and that drive spun again, so I don't know what's causing that, but I guess it's not really a problem. Now we have a place to store our liquid magma. So let's head out to Automation Station and get that tied in. Looks like light blue lines, still got plenty of channels. All right, let's sort our inventory here. Universal cable. I'll need to make some more of those. Now, we want the slow melter right there. Ooh, these are sided, aren't they? They don't have a GUI. Maybe I can pull it out. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so now we want an export bus. And I brought an extended export bus because we looked at the extended pattern providers, but we haven't looked at those yet. So let's just take a look at those together and see how it's different. Because we're going to set this up on an export bus just to make that liquid until it's done for now. So export bus, magma blocks. So the extended doesn't really look all that different at all. Does it get different if I put a capacity card in it? No. It needs a crafting, and then it needs some acceleration upgrades, but it doesn't even need the capacity card because, you know, it's at max capacity. So then now we need an import bus. Hopefully it can pull it out of the side, and that import bus should take our liquid magma and store it away, hopefully. If not, we may have to shift this block. Let's go look in the storage and see if we're seeing magma. Nope. So that means, what does that mean? That might mean that this block is indeed sided, and we're going to need to sneak this cable out and to the back. Actually, you know what? Let's do it with a GPS data card, because then we can run this behind the machine down to the bottom. So let's go. I got one more block down here. Ooh, skyblock. I just realized I stood over something that could very well send me to the void. I guess that's confidence in how I built my base, right? Right, that's what we'll call it. We won't call it ignorance. Okay, so now that that's tied into the bottom, are you going to take it in? Does look like it's melting it, so it's not showing liquid magma. It is definitely still processing. What is it doing? Huh. This is not working out. Yet there's no bites of it there. Is there a drawer for liquid magma? I don't think there is. Nope. So where are you sending the liquid magma to? I mean, look at that, the way that's flickering. It definitely looks like it's cycling through it, but we're not seeing the fluid anywhere. Now we have it. I don't know what it was doing before, but hopefully it'll stop. So now let's GPS data card the power before we forget. I had made a pattern for liquid magma, but I think we're just going to set it up like this to just automatically be generating it over and over. I just hope that it actually quits and is not like using magma blocks when it's not making anymore once the buffer is full. But right now it should be working on getting up to its ever how many buckets, right? All right, so there is that one. Let's go ahead and clear this recipe so we're not confused. Now, I was taking a look at something else in here, and I don't exactly remember which one it was, but we needed tough fabric, which means we need industrial hemp being grown. The only way to grow industrial hemp is in a garden cloche. So I was going to add a garden cloche down here somewhere with access to water and the seeds, and we're going to have it make our industrial hemp for us. Probably going to use a drawer on a drawer controller with a puller upgrade to limit the items. Just realized none of that's been running the whole time we've been in here. So there we have it. This is precarious with how I'm using those channels. I guess technically, I mean, we still need something to get it down to the bottom. Okay, so the garden cloche. Garden cloche is from Immersive Engineering, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, and it is just a block. It is think of it like a phytogenic insulator or a hopper botany pot or whatever, but it's Immersive Engineering's version of it. Feed it RF and water, give it a seed and some dirt, and it will grow certain things indefinitely. The thing we're wanting to grow are the industrial hemp seed, which you've got to use. This is our only thing to grow it in. It won't grow in the phytogenic insulator. It won't grow anywhere else. Now, we can get growth boosts from other types of soil if we want to make it grow more. We can use rich soil from Farmer's Delight with no real extra bonus. Oh, it gives a higher yield. Interesting. Look at that. How much does rich soil make? Decomposition with a mushroom. Okay. We can get it from beehives. I think we've made some of this before, but I don't remember how. Oh, we made the organic compost before. Either way, we're going to set it up on dirt. So let's just grab out some cable, pull us a channel or two. Let's make sure where you connect to the fat line. Yep. Okay, there's 4 channels. Should be more than enough. Now, the garden cloche is actually a tall block. It's too tall. So, or is it 3 tall? Maybe 3. Looks like it's 3. There we go. Yep, 3 blocks tall. And it does have specific inputs and outputs for things. So we can input power into it from the top, I do believe, and from some of these other sides. And the water needs to come in down here at the bottom, if I remember correctly. Along with, we're going to need to, take our items out, from one of them. But first, let's get an export bus going here and make sure that this is the one that'll take water. There we have it. So that's going to fill up with water. Toss some acceleration cards in there so it can keep up. Now, we need to get power into it, so let's just be sneaky and come underneath with a flux point. That should get us power in there. Nope, that's right. Power has to be on one of the orange dots. So we can cover that hole. Power needs to go right there. There we go. So we'll tell it to bypass the limit. Let's grab out a dirt and throw that in. And here we go. As you see, it's not exactly the fastest, but this bar will start moving and it will give us out our items. Now, the import of the items has to happen out of this side over here. So we'll bring some cable around and toss an import bus right there. That should only pull our yield out of the machine, and then let's time and a bottle it so we can see it working. So there we go. Then the real question is going to become, do those items disappear? Nope, we're not getting our items out. Okay, so where do we get the items out from? All right, there we go. It probably would have helped to read up about it, but it needs its import bus right here on this spot on the top of the glass dome. So the hole in the bottom, that's where we put in our power. Any of the points with orange, which is either side here or the top, can accept power. So if we wanted this out of the way, we could, in theory, move our network up here if I can get up there. Let's see, can I pillar up? Yeah, so we could, in theory, bring our network out and over, and then we can put our flux point flux point right there to provide the power, and then it's not in our way downstairs down here. So orange dots are for power, top is for your export, bottom is for your import. These don't consume the seeds, so you really only need the 1 seed in there. And then you can provide them, I think, with an alternative fertilizer over here if you need to get them faster earlier in the game. Now, real quick, now that we've got our magma and we've got our industrial hemp here, which is actually, I think, for a whole other project, but, I squirreled while I was preparing things, so you guys got to squirrel with me. So now, the last thing we want is to set up a pattern provider on this advanced mixer, which I guess we could do right here next to this garden cloche. I don't see why we couldn't. And actually, we'll do it downstairs because we need power, and all that stuff, and we have all that in a row down here. So let's just come a couple blocks over, go right here. We're going to need 1 more flux point. Now, the advanced mixer, I've had some issues with export buses, but with the pattern provider, I think we should be good to just leave it almost, set up how it is without anything extra and be good to go. So let's grab out our light blue cables wherever they are. There they are. Connect up to this pattern provider, grab out our wrench and wrench it to the down. And then we're going to toss in our 2 patterns. And we should, in theory, be able to request these dusts. So let's request 1 of each and see how it goes. Dust. Come down to the ones we can make. Prosalium. You are missing liquid elemental water. Okay. What about melodium? You are also missing liquid element water. And we have a ton of it over here in the stack. I don't know why it's not pulling it into the drawers. Let's go stop the export upstairs and see if we can't fix that. I'll be right back. All right. So I had to tank out of all of those, and it looks like our problem is either the liquid element fire that's getting exported to one of these here, this one that's making our Venus or stabilized fire. It looks like we've never reached equilibrium on the stabilized fire, and this liquid elemental fire is soaking up you know, it's just sponging up all of it that we're putting in. Hopefully we can get that caught up, but we should have enough now to request one of each of these dusts we added. So let's go take a look. The dusts will still need to be smelted before we can craft them, which has to be done in the arc furnace, but that's just adding another pattern, not a bunch of mixers and stuff that we haven't done these kind of things in yet. So now let's test Melodium. That's the more important one because there's a couple of new crafts in there. You gotta love it when everything looks like it's gonna be all right. It doesn't necessarily mean we got it all right, but let's see. See, like that. Could not be extracted from the net. Okay. Must have just been busy, I guess. So there we have both of those crafting. I will take a look and see if they look like they're running through just fine. Oh my goodness. Mistakes were made. We should have put it in blocking mode on the pattern provider because these things have extra buffers, and I bet you... Yep. Okay, so now we also need to tell it you are to the top an output, or an input and an output with auto output enabled. Okay, and then now we need to put you in blocking mode, and it produced 2 Presalium, but none of the Melodium. Unless it did the Melodium while we weren't looking. Let's go look. Don't forget to change your output mode on your machine. Yep, so, oh, it's crafting the dark fireballs, which, where is that being crafted? Dark fireball is in the supercooler. Let's go look at the supercooler and see how it's doing. Oh, this pattern is missing that liquid magma. This is why you test things. Okay, so if we put you in here, you also need, can I not add liquid magma? Yeah, that's not gonna be cool. So we're gonna need to go cancel that other craft, grab those ingredients back, try again. And then if we come right here, let's pull all this out, toss this back into storage. And then we want you to make us a Melodium. Well, it made one of them, but then it just sucked the liquid magma back out. Let's put a capacity card in here, and then let's just put our recipe products in there. So we want Melodium, Presalium, and then what's the other thing? Oh wait, no, dark fireballs and crystallized amber. That's what we need in there. So dark fireball and crystallized amber. Okay, so that should keep it from sucking our liquid magma back into the system. Oh god, it's burning me. Presto. Didn't suck our extra magma back out. And why is it not? Oh, it hasn't. Yeah, okay. So now the Melodium dust should be coming over here to the advanced mixer. There we have it. So both of the new dusts work. We'll just need to add their recipe into the pattern provider. We will make an upgrade to make that into an extended one, and I will show you that in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you were able to learn something out of today's episode, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe and all that good jazz, because I love making these videos and I want to keep, you know, doing it. I want more people to see them. So thanks. Bye-bye.